Caitlin Clark out yet again with a left groin injury.
For the last 2 weeks saying there's something wrong with her legs. There's something going on. Is it the nagging quad injury? But it's something to do with the lower half of her body. There's nothing worse than a groin injury. It will nag the shit out of you. I trust.
Caitlin Clark just dropped a bombshell on the WNBA after suffering a brutal left groin injury that proves she's done with this jealous, bully-filled league.
The fallout has begun.
Every game, she's targeted with dirty fouls, constant physicality, and blind refs standing by doing nothing. The WNBA can't protect their only star. What a joke.
She's now been injured multiple times in the same season. That is devastating for the WNBA. When are people going to understand that?
Caitlin Clark is officially out again. Left groin injury this time. Because apparently in the WNBA, when you're the most valuable player to ever touch their court, they just treat your body like a used punching bag.
She is out tonight. We really don't know how long she's gonna be out.
I mean, this girl has been visibly struggling for weeks. Anyone with a brain and 2 working eyes saw it. Her legs weren't right, her shot was off, and yet the Indiana Fever kept trotting her out there like she's some lab experiment.
The problem is, it's only for Caitlin. This is the problem that no one seems to also really understand.
And now, surprise, surprise, after missing 5 straight games earlier this season with a left quad strain, here we are again. But now it's the groin. How convenient. From quad to groin, textbook overcompensation injury. I don't even need to be a doctor to see how this happened.
So Caitlin Clark's body is going to be more likely to wear down and get injured than anyone else in the WNBA.
Let me spell this out in case the Fever's coaching staff or the WNBA refs need it dumbed down. Caitlin Clark is 1 for her last 23 from three-point range. 1 of 23. You don't just forget how to shoot overnight unless something is physically wrong. But nah, they ignored it.
But I will contend and I will die on this hill that she has been hurt for as long as this 3-point streak, the struggling streak. Look, guys.
You know what they did? Played her with an obvious injury. And then, just to make sure we all know how dumb this league is, they threw her back in the game with 45 seconds left when the game was already wrapped up. Like, what are we doing here? Protect the franchise player? Nope. Let's grind her into dust so the league can keep cashing those Caitlin Clark paychecks. Genius strategy.
All right, she'll miss her 6th game of the year tonight against the LA Sparks. We don't know how long she's going to be out.
Now, heading into tonight's game against the Los Angeles Sparks, the Indiana Fever are down to 9 active players. 9. You're basically running with a glorified rec league roster out there, and somehow, it's still all on Caitlin Clark's shoulders. The management is so incompetent, they can't even keep a full squad healthy, and yet they expect Clark to play superhero with 1 leg and half a groin.
But some people are saying that Caitlin Clark got injured
Clark's back in.
right there.
Down.
All right, on that play that just happened, that it may be where the injury transpired.
And let's not forget, the WNBA's biggest asset, the one keeping their ratings above water, is now questioning her future. I don't blame her. I'd question my future too if I had to play with jealous players trying to break my body every night while the refs took a nap.
And these games are being officiated poorly. That's just a fact.
Speaking of jealous players, let's talk about the cheap shots. The physical targeting of Caitlin Clark is beyond pathetic. It's borderline criminal. We've seen constant double teams, traps, and what basically amounts to assault-level physical play. But because it's the WNBA, they let it slide.
Man, the refs are really letting them play. Caitlin Clark's getting hacked down there. And it's harder for us to see at home, and even on some replays.
Eye gouges, body checks, shoves. It's all fair game when it's Caitlin Clark on the receiving end. Remember Marina Mabrey? Yeah, her dirty plays went viral for a reason. And yet the refs just stood there like they were watching a cooking show. It's cool though. Keep letting players hack, trip, and shove the league's biggest draw. Makes total sense.
If everybody was experiencing this physicality 365 like Caitlin, you can make the argument of saying, well, everyone's dealing with it. But they're not.
And don't get me started on these other players. Instead of stepping up their game and proving they belong on the court with Clark, They resort to cheap shots to hide their inferiority. It's actually sad. You'd think grown adults playing professional basketball would have more pride, but nah, jealousy runs deep.
Caitlin Clark is not playing now is awful. Awful, awful, awful.
They see the sold-out arenas, they see the merch sales, and they see Caitlin's face plastered everywhere. And what do? They bully, they shove, they foul. It's almost comical how predictable it is. But here's where it gets really embarrassing for the league. The ratings prove they depend on Caitlin Clark. When she's on the court, eyes are watching. When she's gone, no one cares. But these clowns still let insecure players try to beat her down. Risk the only meal ticket you've got, real smart WNBA. It's like they want to lose the one thing keeping them relevant. You'd almost think they enjoy sabotaging themselves.
We go from a quad to a quad to a groin. A quad.
Now let's roast Stephanie White for a second. Coach of the Year material? Please. White publicly claimed Clark's current quad injury was different than her preseason quad injury. Are we supposed to just nod along and pretend that makes sense? A quad is a quad. It's the same damn leg. But apparently, in Stephanie White's fantasy world, you can have two different quad injuries at the same time. Medical science, ladies and gentlemen.
With Caitlin, when did you guys find out about this groin injury, and how much of an absence do you expect from her beyond today?
Yeah, late last night. I think it's very much a day-to-day thing, how she responds to treatment.
And when pressed about Clark's current groin injury, what did White say? I stay in my lane. Really? You're the head coach of the most watched player in the league, your job depends on her success, and you stay in your lane? Massive red flag. It's either you're clueless or you're intentionally playing dumb.
I mean, as fans, we have been screaming at Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner.
Either way, it's a bad look. She couldn't even confirm if the MRI showed a strain. Passing the blame to the medical staff like she's got no say. You're the coach. You control the minutes. You put her back in that game with 45 seconds left, risking her career. But hey, stay in your lane, right?
She's shown that she's tough and she's a quick healer, so we'll see. Was it something she reported yesterday?
Let's talk facts. Clark rushed back after her quad strain, clearly nowhere near 100%. And shocker, now she's got groin issues from overcompensating. It's textbook sports injury progression. You'd think a professional organization would know this. But nope, we've got high school level decision-making happening on the sidelines. And for what? So you can squeeze a few extra minutes out of an injured player and pretend the team's not falling apart?
Pain in the left groin? It had to have been at some point during the day because they took her out yesterday, for the MRI. So I'm not exactly sure. I didn't hear about it until we heard from our training staff last night.
Playing Clark during garbage time when the game was sealed isn't just dumb, it's reckless. You've got 9 active players left, your franchise player is limping, and your best idea is to risk her in a meaningless 45 seconds? That screams desperation, or total cluelessness. Either way, fans are fed up. The Fire Stephanie White chants are growing louder, and they should be. You've got the best thing to happen to this league in years, and you're running her into the ground.
Caitlin Clark clearly not looking like herself. The Indiana Fever has the game put away, yet we still put her back in the game at 45 seconds left.
At this rate, the WNBA's biggest embarrassment isn't just how they let jealous players beat Clark down, or how the refs pretend they're blind. It's the fact that the league, the coaches, and even the medical staff are all complicit in this mess. And they wonder why she's questioning her future here. Keep it up, WNBA. You're one injury away from losing the only thing keeping your ratings alive.
At Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner. Caitlin Clark, your greatest asset, is going to get hurt. The face of your league is going to get hurt if you continue to allow all this physical play to happen.
Caitlin Clark's slump right now is all the proof you need that the WNBA is a complete circus. First 6 games, she looked exactly like what she is, the most elite player to walk into that league. Deep threes, ridiculous range, playmaking, basically carrying the entire Indiana Fever on her back.
Frustrating. Stephanie White said Caitlin Clark reported pain to the training staff last night, then got an MRI on her groin. White said CC is day to day, and did not specify if the MRI showed a strain.
But now, her last 3 games, she's averaging just 12 points per game, shooting a disgusting 27%. 27% for the player the entire league depends on. You think that's normal? You think she forgot how to shoot overnight? No. What's happening is plain as day. Her body is breaking down because this league is obsessed with physically destroying her.
I stay in my lane and let our
She's gassed. You can see the fatigue in every possession. Excessive minutes, constant double and triple teams, the nonstop bullying from jealous players, and then throw in the mismanaged injuries, it's a disaster. And before the WNBA defenders start crying, let's be real, the league has been down this road before.
The WNBA does not exist without Caitlin Clark. I'm so sorry it hurts your feelings.
Even Michael Jordan dealt with it back in 1986 when he broke his foot. They didn't protect him then either. And Steph Curry, early in his career, ankle injuries nearly derailed everything. You know what both those guys did? They got targeted because they were too good, and the league pretended it wasn't happening. Sound familiar? And here's the funniest part. When Clark sits, the ratings collapse by 55%. More than half the league's audience vanishes. Gone. But the WNBA still wants to parade around like this is all about competitive balance and player equality. Yeah, okay. Without Clark, nobody's watching, nobody's buying jerseys, and the arenas are back to being half empty.
Any less true. The sheer fact that Caitlin Clark is not playing now is awful. Awful, awful, awful. Nobody cares to watch the Indiana Fever and the WNBA play when Caitlin Clark is not there. It's just a fact. It's why when she wasn't playing, ratings plummeted by 55% around the entire league.
Where's the leadership? Silent. Completely unwilling to enforce rules to protect the only player keeping their league alive. It's pathetic. The whispers are already growing louder. Clark is considering leaving for Europe. Why wouldn't she? Brittany Griner made over $1 million a season over there, plus they actually respect their star players. Higher pay, better treatment, real protection on the court. Meanwhile, here in the WNBA, Clark is treated like target practice. The WNBA is crumbling, Caitlin's done, and this league's fake tough players just expose themselves. Subscribe for more real talk because we're not sugarcoating anything here.